Okay friends, we are back to look at the orthographic part of our examples. So let's look at their guided examples. So, an orthographic drawing represents a three-dimensional object by displaying the front, side, and top view of an object. Each view is drawn so the edge lengths from each view match up with the edges on the other views. A simple box has 6 sides. 2 sides, 2 ends, top and bottom. An isometric drawing of a box is displayed below. So the isometric is what we just did before, where we're on that 30-degree angle, so we would have had that dotted paper down there. Okay, in the orthographic drawing we focus on 3 of these views and label them according to the diagram displayed below. So front view, top view, side view, and in this case this would be the front view, top view, side view. It depends on how they've oriented the objects. So we just broke down that box, kind of pulled it apart, turned it so that the front was towards us, flipped up the top, and flipped over the side so we can see those pieces. And then essentially we would just separate them into different spots. Okay, so creating an orthographic drawing of this object. So the front face is the one that is facing us here on the left of our isometric. So they would create our front view and draw it. So over 2, up 3, back 2, down 3. So that's what they've done right here. Then they turned it to look at the top view. So you've got the 2. So they want it to match up with these 2 here. So just like you've kind of flipped it up to look at it. So you want to start on this spot here. And they created that view there. Then moving over to your side view, it's going to match up with these 3 pieces here, because again, it's just like we've kind of pulled the side of that object off to kind of be the wing here. So it will be 1, 2, 3, and over 4. 1, 2, 3, and over 4. So what they did is they turned it so that this front face was facing us, and then they essentially stood the box up so that this one was here, but it matches with these top 2 that are there, and then they just pulled this side over so that we could see it there. Okay, creating an orthographic drawing of this object. We flip it to the front, and we've got a nice beautiful L there. That's really easy. And then we're going to kind of tip it over onto this L so that we see this part here and this part here. But we want it to match up on the paper directly across from the corner that it would match with here. So this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner to this corner. Okay. And now moving to the right view, we're just turning it so that stair faces us. Alright, let's go create some. So it wants a front face, so remember it's the left-hand side, so it would be this one here. So we would be 1, 2, 3 across, and then it would be up 4, and we would close that rectangle. Right, then they want us to do the top view. So remember, that front face is this one right here, and we want it to match up with this one here. So we would put that there. And then the depth of this top is the 2 that you see along that edge. And we would close that rectangle. Okay, and then the side view. So we want this long side to match up with the long side that we have here. and then it is 1, 2 across. And we would close that rectangle view. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, very similar like the last one, but the dimensions are different. So it goes across 2, that's the front view, and up 3. And we're going to close the rectangle. Okay, and then it's going to ask us to do the top view. So if we were kind of tip this rectangle over, we would see 2 here and 1. So it would be a length of 2 and a depth or width of 1. So the length of 2 matches up with the length of 2 here, and then it just goes back 1. Okay, and then the side view. So we're going to have this length of 3 match up with this length of 3. Start here, sorry. And it is a depth of 1. Okay. Starting in this corner here, we're going to go across 3, and then up 1, 2, 3. Okay, now this is an L, so if we were to turn it to face us, I'm going to go across 1, down 2, across 2, down 1. So I've made that L face here. Okay, now we're going to look at the top here. So from the top, it can't tell that there's any depth to this. It doesn't see that it comes down, but essentially it's going to see this one length here, but then it's also going to see this length of 2 here. Okay, and then it's going to see this part here, the back 2, and it's going to see this back 2. But then from there, if we're looking directly at the top, we have no depth view, so we're just going to see this single edge. And it actually makes our top view look just like a rectangle. And we don't need to include this line here because it doesn't know. In some orthographic, like especially manufacturing drawings, they're going to draw this line here as well to show that the object has changed depth. It may not like that. It's going to tell us to take that out. But I have seen manufacturing applications where it has that line there. Okay, then the front view, the side view, it's going to have these 2 here, so it's a depth of 2. And then it's going to go up 1. But then again, this one can't tell that it's going to cut back in. It just sees this back face. So it's kind of like it has no depth to it. It can't see the difference, so it turns into just a view of a rectangle. Okay, starting here, we're going to go over 5, up 1, then this side cuts in 1 before it goes up 2, then it goes over 1 here on the top, and back down 2, and over 3 to close the shape. Alright, and again, we're going to flip this over onto, like as if we're looking at it from the top, or we can flip it over to look at it. And it can't tell that this piece protrudes here. All it's going to see is that it's a solid rectangle. So here we're going to have a rectangle of 5 with a depth of 2. And again, if you were in manufacturing, so it's going to tell me that this one is correct, but if you were in manufacturing, you would include the edges of this cut. So you would tell it that there's a line here, and you would tell it that there's a line here. And in this example, it's going to tell me it doesn't like that, but it just depends on what the system is set up for. Okay, and we're going to finish this example. So it is 2 across, and it's going to go up 1, but then again it can't see that we're going to cut back, so then it's going to catch this view, which is just up 2. And there we go. And again, in manufacturing, you would draw this line here to show that there's a step, but this system doesn't like it. And I think that is good for today. I know there's one more, but I feel like we've done enough today. I'm sorry the Adobe didn't work, and I'm happy to run the tutorial so you can see it.